I love punk, and as much as it pulls out that drive in me, I think I actually have the true drive um, that for the most part is required. Um, there is stuff I actually feel hatred about, stuff that really does piss me off, but I don't know, I'm just not one of these, like, sometimes I just don't feel like I'm a pure at heart, as much as I love to, as much as I feel the edge of punk, as much as I've always listened to it and understood it, I just don't always know if I'm, you know, I always figured, punk is something created by the people that are just completely socially unaccepted. And I'm just not that. But then I realized there's straight edge bands out there, there's hardcore bands out there that are, just as well off or better than I am when it comes to where they are socially. And it's just like, well, I don't have anything actually hard. I have stuff that pisses me off in life, but I don't have anything that's actually hard. I mean, right? Look, I'm a single dad. I live with my grandparents. That pisses me off. I mean, I love my grandparents to death. They've done so much for me, but it's just like, do you think I actually like not being able to rely on myself to provide for myself and for my son the 3 days a week I keep him, 3 nights a week I keep him? I mean, that's just kind of that kind of stuff pisses me off. But it's not the same kind of stuff where it's like somebody, when that's in some, true form of that hatred for the, that you hear a lot in hardcore and punk. I mean, there's a lot of good times you hear about too, but there's stuff that's here's like somebody, like, whenever they were a kid, they had their, who had, like, parents who did, like, heroin every night in front of them and shit like that, or cut them on the legs with broken beer bottles or some shit like that, 3 times a week or whatever. It's just like, I never actually had that, I have had that kind of shit, and it's just kind of like, I don't know if I'm actually on that true edge or not, but I just, whenever it comes to my poetry, I just write about what I feel like having to write about, and sometimes I get a little carried away and upload stuff that I shouldn't. That should be just between me and whoever. But because I wasn't around for the whole, 80, the hatred for Nixon punk scene. I was born in '92. That's whenever punk was, I guess, less punk. There's certain bands out there we're still pushing the punk edge, and there are the bands out there that are still pushing the hardcore edge. But they're actually still having some sort of a positive input on what hardcore is. But I was born in '92. That's whenever the ska bands and the pop punk bands and shit like that were really kicking up, and I just kind of. That's just, always, I guess, where I've kind of, like, not really been able to cut the cheese, for lack of a better term. Not really able to bend the baked potato. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just coming up with shitty food references that kind of are the same example, but I don't know, like, no matter how edgy a punk band is that I could create, no matter how, whatever it is that's close to the original punk sound that people want, punk's never going to be the same as it was, I mean, there was so much more, I mean, back in the day it was about, like, writing about how much Nixon, and hating the whole white man 50s power mentality and shit like that, and it's just like, that's not that anymore. You can write about how there's been problems with Um, you can hate Obama. I mean, you can put it's pretty much putting Obama in Nixon's place in some ways, and creating trying to create a socialistic, sorry, society, stuff like that, and it's just like, I know it's not really, it's kind of on a similar it's kind of a similar ball game, but it's not on the same field, you know. Well, no matter what was created when, nothing will be ever on, 40 years later, it'll never be on the same field. No matter how much you love the original of anything, no matter how close the time period you are to whatever, you're never on the same field. And that's kind of where art's gone too, we don't have the fucking Greeks chipping away statues anymore of gods they worship. They don't have, you don't have the Edgar Allan Poe around anymore, writing some of his mindfuck stories that he's written. Some of them are nice love stories. I've read some of it. My favorite story ever, of all the stories I've ever read is The Golden Bug by Edgar Allan Poe. And you don't have Alfred Hitchcock really pushing his shit anymore. You don't have the original punk scene around anymore. You have some of those bands that are still somehow kicking up, half of them, 3/4 of them not really with the original members anymore, but you just have, I mean, I like Alicia Keys' music, but she's not really writing the same stuff anymore. I mean, she does good poetry, R&B, hip-hop style stuff, but it's just, that's kind of art I like. And art's changing. Stuff that's being pushed on the mainstream these days is shit like Nicki Minaj and Justin Bieber. He likes that shit. I mean, you have teenage girls who listen to it. You have, in my opinion, people with no taste who like it. I mean, there's some art or music I like, but that's just because it fits in with a similar sound to a style I like. I like good singer-songwriter music, folk. I like some of Mumford and Sons stuff. I like Roll Away Your Stone, I Will Wait. They did a cover of Wagon Wheel with a Crow Medicine Show. A live version of it. I really like that. But it's just like, art's not the same anymore. And in 40 years from now, it can be completely different. So, I mean, we got people like Justin Bieber and Skrillex kicking the charts now when it comes to, the whole, like, pop scene now. 50 years ago, it was the Beatles. Now it's Justin Bieber and whatever else. But, of course, he's going downhill anyway. He's going downhill from the start. But, anyway, art's a whole lot different. Whenever art used to be cool documentary films about stuff that, like The Endless Summer, Surf. Seen good portion of it, and I liked it pretty well. But art's changing, dude. Ladies, it's been changing for a while. Like me, as much as I listen to hardcore and punk myself, I now make a lot of references to it, but I play the banjo. That's my music. It's a one-string hillbilly instrument. Art's art. You can't just be as dedicated as you can are towards anything. You can't be just a total dick about it. Anything, As much as you are into hardcore, don't be a dick about not liking folk or poetry. As much as you can be straight edge, don't be a dick if one of your friends smokes, no matter no matter what, all music, there's the true artists can be singing about the same thing. That's one reason I like hip hop. Also, a lot of punk hip hop singers are just singing about the same shit. How certain economic things are going bad. The blues, some of them about relationships. I mean, true hip hop, not like this fuck bitches but fuck hoes, let's spill champagne everywhere and show how much money we can actually waste kind of stuff. Actual hip hop, like I listen to shit whenever he was still under Mos Def. I would used to listen to him a lot. I haven't listened to much of his new stuff, honestly, because I just haven't got around to it. But just be real, No matter Shaky Graves, he's kind of a singer-songwriter I just really like, and a lot of different genres are really, they have their sections that are writing about the same stuff, and even if you want to hear something different, just listen to a different genre. That's really all there is to it. I mean, there's a point where you can be open-minded, but just don't open your head too much to where your brain falls out. That's one of my favorite quotes is, you can be open-minded, but don't let your brain fall out, pretty much. And know your limits, know the limits, don't be an idiot. So don't go too far one way or too far the other way to where you become a total goon. So that's pretty much me on art. Peace out. Keep it true.